Chicago Bulls have clinched the coveted 9th seed in the Eastern Conference. What normally would have been a guaranteed spot in the lottery previously is now home court advantage in the play-in and additional revenue for the Reinsdorfs. No, but seriously, I know we trolled the Reinsdorfs and how they only care about bringing in that revenue and keeping the team mid as long as it still brings in all that money. But I mean, I'm still going to look forward to this game, watching this game of the Bulls in a winner-go-home matchup in the play-in against the Atlanta Hawks, even though I honestly have no idea how that game is going to go. I would not be surprised if the Bulls win handily, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they get killed. But we'll save that conversation for when I do a play-in preview video of some kind later on this week. Let's talk about this game against the Detroit Pistons, where the Bulls even the season series between this team, which is insane that the Bulls lost to this team twice when you see just how bad they are. And look, while I'll talk about the good things that came from this game, can I just start by saying what the hell was Billy Donovan doing at the end of the game in leaving all of his starters in up 25 with less than 3 minutes to go? I'm sorry, that was absolutely insane, and I haven't watched the post-game press conferences yet to hear what his rationale behind it was, and quite frankly, I don't really care what his rationale was. It made absolutely zero sense to keep your starters, particularly DeMar DeRozan, who leads the league in minutes, playing in his 15th season, leaving these guys in the game that is over. I could understand if the Bulls were up by like 12, where maybe you're not certain that they could actually close out the game, but up 25, I'm still just baffled. And we saw Billy Donovan actually do this one point earlier in the season. I don't remember what game it was. I just remember the Bulls being up big. The game was over, and for some reason, Donovan left the starters in. Oh, actually, it was against the Indiana Pacers, where Rick Carlisle had actually taken out his own starters and waved the white flag, and yet Billy Donovan left his guys in. I was pretty dumbfounded at that time, but at the same time, it was like, okay, well, there is still season left to be played. You need to ensure you're keeping your rotations consistent. But in a game like this, the 80th game of the year, you've already locked up the 9th seed, a perfect time to rest your starters in garbage time. Securing the win means you don't have to worry about positioning in the standings anymore. Like literally the last 2 games of the season aren't going to mean anything for the Bulls, aside from maybe some confidence boost and going into the play-in, giving the younger guys some more minutes and run in the NBA games for them to develop. But for some reason, Billy Donovan decided to keep these guys in the game until we were close to the final possession. Absolutely mind-boggling. And then of course Vucevic got hit in the face right before he was taken out of the game, was holding onto his face for some time. Hopefully it doesn't impact his play going forward, especially going into the play-in. You kind of need Vucevic, especially if Drummond's status is pretty uncertain. And hey, Vucevic has been playing a lot better the last couple of games. His defense has still been lousy, but he's been much more efficient on offense and did well on a guy who has been a pretty strong opponent for him, as we saw earlier in the season in Jalen Duren. But 27 points on 12 for 21 shooting, 2 for 6 from 3, 11 boards, 4 assists, 2 steals, and a block. A plus 26 in this game for Vuce. Also 0 turnovers. Just a really solid game for Nikola Vucevic. I wish he didn't play 37 minutes though. That seemed unnecessary, but then again, Andre Drummond has also been out of the lineup. Talking about guys getting some rest, I was really hoping DeMar DeRozan wouldn't play at all in the 4th quarter. Like, the way the game was trending heading into the 4th and the Bulls getting a nice start in that 4th quarter before DeMar DeRozan was brought in, you thought, okay, they're probably not going to need DeMar. But instead, he comes in and was just so smooth, finishing up the game with 39 points, hit 4 threes in the game, which is rare for DeMar, 14 for 22 overall, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals as well. DeMar has actually tied his career high in steals in a season with those 3 steals that he had tonight. We'll see if he plays in these final 2 games to break that. Hopefully not, but who knows with Billy Donovan and how he's going to approach these final 2 games. Coby White, another guy who has put in a lot of minutes this season. He had a much more efficient game than what we've been seeing recently. 4 for 8 from 3, 7 for 15 from the floor, 18 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and a plus 24. I mean, everyone's box plus minus looked great tonight in this game when you're blowing a team out. Alex Caruso, great game, doing what he does defensively as always. Also secured his eligibility to be named to an all-defensive team, which I'm sure he's going to get, but also being the Bulls' main facilitator in this game, getting 10 assists of the Bulls' total and 28 assists on the game. And then Javonte Green, it's still so insane to me that this guy was in the G League and looked like he wouldn't be able to make his way back into the NBA. And you see him out there now with the same level of athleticism, incredible speed, hard-nosed defense. Like, how can you not like this dude? Just the story and the path that he had to take to get to the NBA in general from the get-go, and then getting back to the league after sustaining all those injuries, and then still plays his ass off when he's out there on the court. Tonight, 30 minutes, did a little bit of everything, 11 points, 5 for 6 from the floor, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks, and a steal. Just cannot say enough about how much I love this guy, and it's going to be nice to have him come playing time. And then also Dalen Terry off the bench, showing off that athleticism and speed, went into double figures tonight with 12 points on 5 for 9 from the floor, hit a couple of threes. I cannot stand that release, and I would prefer to see Terry not hoist up threes, but hey, when they're going down, yeah, it's good. And then how about the Bulls shooting in this one? 53% overall, completely dominated the possession battle and getting up 96 shots compared to the Pistons 77. Bulls capitalized on points off turnovers, shot well from deep after putting up one of the worst three-point shooting nights in NBA history in that loss to the Pistons earlier in the season at the United Center. So yeah, it was a good game. Nothing I'm going to get excited about because this was a game the Bulls had zero excuses to lose, especially when the Pistons were without some of their key players, but I'm just glad we didn't see another stinker of a performance going up against this team. They took care of business, secured home court advantage in the play-in, and now we wait for that game next Wednesday. I'll obviously have a post-game video out for the last 2 games of the season, but I'll really be more on the lookout to see the differences in rotations and seeing how some of these younger guys show up, looking at the development of those younger guys. That will really be my focus, since the games for the most part aren't going to count for anything. Unless, of course, Billy Donovan just decides to keep things going with the same lineups and rotations that he's been going with all season, which would just be absurd at this point with 2 games left in the year when you already have the 9th seed locked up. But there are a lot of things that don't seem to make rational sense with this guy's coaching style sometimes. Anyway, guys, Bulls are back at it tomorrow in DC. Until then, as always, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.